Well, hello everybody. How are you doing? It is 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Is it one day or is it someday or is it this day? I can't recall right now. I feel like I'm, drunk right now, maybe, because I just literally finished a 1 hour webinar that I just gave for the ANA, which is the Association of National Advertisers. And I hopped off like 2 minutes ago and moved over to this, and I feel like I'm moving at 1,000 miles per hour, and I'm overtired because I had one of those crazy evenings. Well, not that crazy. Nothing's crazy anymore. But I woke up at 2 in the morning. I tend to have this horrible insomnia now, and I just wasn't able to go back to sleep. So I stayed awake for until about 4:30, 4:45. So I'm a little punch drunk. I think I'm not actually drunk, but I think I'm a punch drunk as well. But I got some gel in my hair because I'm doing some recording afterwards, and I just love how my day is so busy. Like an hour, never before has anyone worked so hard for zero money and actually been so happy about it. And that's kind of the situation I'm in right now. And it's a good thing. It's a good thing to feel like there is meaning and purpose. Today is just me. It's just me, and and then you're going to get back to back interviews. Chad Dick, Shiv Singh, and Jake Thompson. What I kind of like about this as well is that I know Shiv and Chad personally. I don't know Jake. Jake comes to me because I just reached out to a whole bunch of groups that I belong to for writers, for speakers. And I just said, hey, listen, if you've got a message that's compelling that you can share, you heard Peter Shankman yesterday, then I want to give you that platform. And I want to give you guys that are watching this right now. Some of you are coming here every day. I find it so amazing that like a guy like Stavros, for example, he said hard work, zero money. But there's more to life than money. I mean, I won't be saying that when I get evicted in 6 weeks. But until that happens, I may as well just smile about it and enjoy it. Enjoy it while it lasts. So yeah, so you're going to hear from Chad and from Shiv. I want to talk to Shiv about. I mean, we are living through like times that are so strange right now. Yesterday's press conference was insane. It was insane to see a campaign video shown by our president. It was just it was insane. It was a piece of propaganda. I mean, there's no two ways about it. But my point is, look, I'm going to do my best on these shows, not to be political for the sake of being political. We don't need that. But I'm fascinated by the marketing side of this. I'm fascinated by the media implications. It is it's real life. It's real life, but it's a case study, and we're living it. What I just said in the webinar is, they always say hindsight is 2020. Well, guess what? It's not hindsight. We're in 2020, and 2020 sucks. So we don't need to like recognize the situation we're in. We just got to kind of immerse ourselves in it, and embrace it. And Stavros said today, you won't get evicted. You'll get a better deal. I promise. No landlord wants a property with no tenant. Well, I think what I'm going to try and do is refinance, see if that works, maybe, because I don't even think there is interest rates anymore. So for those of you, yes, the doctor is in session, Mr. Zlotnik. Good to have you back as well. It's been amazing for me, to think of like the regulars. There's Bob, and there's Jan, and there's Crystal, and there's, it's just incredible. Joey, although he hasn't said hello yet, so maybe he's busy today. It's unbelievable to think that people have given me 30 minutes to an hour of their day every single day. And I'd like to believe that you guys, the regulars, know something that the others don't, because I think that I'm back to where I wanted to be, back to my best in terms of being a content creator, and not just delivering thought leadership, as they call it, when I give a presentation, but every single day being able to deliver something that I hope is unique and original and differentiated, and also listening to you guys and what you guys want, like Joey over there. Okay, so I was just checking that you were back. So it looks like all the regulars are back, except I haven't heard from Bob yet, but that's okay. We'll see what happens. So birthdays. David Rogers, Alejandra Duran, Rodney, Sahi. Is that a bowl? Or fruit? Stacy, Neil Phillips, who just turned 50. Happy birthday, my man. Joanne Hoberman Bard. There's Joanne and her beautiful family. Happy birthday to you, Nathaniel and Alexis. Happy birthday, everyone. And remember, you'll never, ever have to celebrate alone as long as Corona TV exists. Well, unfortunately, as long as Corona TV exists, the numbers exist. And now, we have like over 10 days of data. I went back the other day and I looked at some of these numbers. Look at deaths, right? Globally, 56,000 on April 3rd, and now 121,000. But it's really the US numbers that I think have become so much more pronounced and so much more concerning. 6,600 deaths on April 3rd, and now 23,700. It almost doesn't seem real anymore when you look at these numbers. They just look like numbers. But at the same time, hearing from Peter yesterday, talking about 2 people that he knows, friends that have passed away. I was talking to my dentist yesterday, to David, and he told me someone in his complex that he lives in, and one of his patients in New York, and one of his patients out here. It's kind of crazy to think that at the end of this, we'll all know someone who perished at the hands of COVID-19. And that's why we all recognize that we've got to, now is not the time to bail, right? Now is not the time to lose patience. Now is the time to make sure that that testing number continues to increase. 152,000 new tests. And yeah, we're still, I say this every day, we're still looking at methodologies and what is being reported by one institution versus another institution, but we need to see those numbers increasing and increasing quite radically, I might add. Okay, so let's look at some other numbers as well. Daily confirmed new cases. I mean, I think there is some good news, as difficult maybe and challenging as it is to look at those US numbers relative to the rest of the world. We do see something that looks like a flattening. We do see something that looks like a bit of a decline. And let's just hope that we continue to see that number now decreasing. And then I actually looked at something else the other day. So, I've been really fascinated by some of these data points. And one of them is now looking at deaths per 100,000 population and just looking at mortality rates as well. Maybe slightly better news, I suppose, from a US standpoint, but also kind of, recognizing when you kind of normalize populations, etc., just seeing how what numbers stick out. And of course, the number that sticks out is the number that doesn't stick out, right? That China number. Of course, a massive population. It is China at the end of the day. But just seeing that tiny percentage, at least that's what was reported. So, we can never be too sure, can we, when it comes to our friends in China. So I mentioned the other day that there was an article that no fewer than 3 people had sent me, and very relevant from a brand standpoint, right? Prepare for the ultimate gaslighting that we're going to start to see, from all the advertising that says we're all in this together to all of the advertising that is now going to be telling us it's okay to go and spend all of that money that you got from the government, and life is back to normal. It's better than ever before. Resume, your daily journey to Starbucks for that triple decaf soy, no whip mocha. Go and spend money and run into the shopping malls and elbow somebody in the jaw when it comes to Thanksgiving and Black Friday. Life is beautiful life is back to normal as well. Well, I'm happy to tell you that I just got a response from the author of this article. You can imagine how hectic he has been, how busy he's been. He hasn't quite agreed to come on the show yet, but he did. We are in email communication, and I hope he does, because I think this article is so well written and it's getting so much traction that I think I can go through all of this with you and with him and discuss this, because it's an important discussion. Hello, Crystal. I think you've also suggested a topic, and I'm going to bring that topic up as well. So we've got to talk about that in the Zoom after show. See if maybe you want to talk about it, or if you just want me to talk about it, because you don't have to if you don't want to as well. So today, as I said, you just have me, but you have something else from me. So this whole prepare for gaslighting, it kind of got me so riled up and so mad and irritated that I actually put together a little expletive-laden rant about brands and what brands are doing right now in this time and during this time. And it was about 4 minutes of just, there was a lot of swearing, I'm not going to lie. And then of course, my conscience, which is my wife, she said, stop the swearing, and it's too long and you keep repeating yourself. And I said, well, that's what good, talk show hosts do. They just keep repeating themselves. But I managed to cut it down to a minute 13. And I'd like to actually show that to you. This is the world global release of my little love letter to brands. So I'm going to play that for you. We're in this together. We've got your back. You know what? I'm going to start that again, because there you go. We're in this together. We've got your back. We know how you feel. You didn't say these things before the shit hit the fan. But now suddenly you found yourself a heart, a conscience. Suddenly you care. You're going to care this much when we come out of this? Great that you gave us 30 days grace. Great that you've created contactless delivery. You're still selling to me. Don't contact me anymore. That is the contactless that I need right now. Stop talking. For once in your life, just stop talking. Take your brand out of this right now. Your brand is not necessary. Your brand is not needed. You don't need to separate the arches. You don't need to separate your two meaningless circles in your logo. You don't have to be the smartest person in the room. You don't have to be the wittiest person in the room. You don't have to have the last laugh or the last word. Go away for now. Let us heal by ourselves. Be quiet. Listen for once. And when things subside, you can go back to that beautiful selling voodoo that you do so well. Well, I wanted you to have a look at that, and I wonder what you think about it. This was my little, piece of advice, which was I was just so mad. I was so irritated because I would put the television on, and all I would see is, we've got your back, we're in this together, like all this stuff. And it was just like, it was suffocating me. It was absolutely suffocating me. And because it's so disingenuous, a can of soda should not have my back, right? A sneaker should not care whether we're in this together or not. Like, what we need right now is each other. What we don't need are these brand messages, because they're empty. They're empty promises. They're hot air. They're just words. Now, please do not, misinterpret this for the fact that companies should not be doing stuff. Yes, they should. They should be doing a lot of stuff. They should be helping. They should be, kudos to State Farm that just, is giving, I think, $2 billion now back to policyholders. Because guess what? People aren't on the road. Well, let me show you an example of one company, a couple of examples of like just tone deaf and cluelessness. I mean, like, you can't make this stuff up. I'm going to stop it for a second, because so far it's a beautiful message. I got the goosebumps. It's wonderful. Do you know who it's for? If you know, don't put it in the comments. So hold off for a second. Do you know who this is for? Isn't this the problem? It could be for anyone. Insert brand here, JP Morgan Chase, I don't know, Nike, Starbucks, Coca-Cola. You tell me, Wayfair. I don't know. Who's it for? It's just beautiful copywriter, beautiful creative director, beautiful agency. But who's it for? General Motors, Buick, I don't know. Let's finish it, and then I'll go to some of your comments. Yep, that's right. Thank you for not riding Uber. Thank you for staying at home and not riding us. I was just floored when I saw this. I was so mad. I was so angry. You just spent all this money, all these production dollars and media dollars to thank me for not, giving you my business. First of all, I don't have the choice, even if I wanted to. But can you sense the elephant in the room here? The elephant in the room are all these gig workers that are at home as well, that have no money, no revenue, that cannot make ends meet. Why not tell me what Uber is doing to take care of them? And why do you even need to tell me? Why do you need to broadcast this? Why do you need to chest beat and tell me how great you are? Because you're not great. You're not great if you have to tell me that you're great. And that's why, like, every time I'm looking at these ads right now and I'm thinking, I don't know, WeWork, Kraft Heinz, Porsche, it could be any brand. Insert brand here. If this was not your message before, if this is not going to be your message afterwards, it kind of shouldn't be your message right now. So I want to take a break for a second and just say a few hellos. I've been talking now for like 2 hours. Hello, Rex. How are you? Tuning in from London. So I like a little bit of an international flair here. And Joey said, vintage Jaffe. Well, I'm just trying to be honest, man. I'm just trying to keep it as real as I possibly can. Rex said, totally agree with this. As a marketer, it's incredibly embarrassing to see brands selling without thinking first, right? Because we've all been talking about how helping is the new selling. But you know what isn't? Selling is not the new helping. Selling is just the old selling, right? So I think you nailed it. This is selling without thinking. One of the questions asked of me in the webinar is, when should we go back to, we've relaxed payment and late payments and overages and etc. And I said, maybe the answer is never. Never go back. Every one of these policies right now should be a policy that you could extend in perpetuity, especially for your regular customers or your loyal customers or your customers that need it the most. Now brands have got to display the ultimate thing that they lack, which is humanity. Because at the end of the day, what is a brand? A brand is nothing. It's just sterile. It's inanimate. It's the people behind the brand that power the brand that ultimately determine what that life and what that heart and what that soul looks like. Jan said, you made with this video what my brain has been screaming for. Thank you. Well, my brain has been screaming for it as well, which is why I basically wanted to do it. And Jan said, I appreciate how Google in its way said, we're here to help you search for help, and ended its spot, not with a logo, but with a place to go for help. Sometimes we need that. One brand, I'll maybe show you this maybe tomorrow or something, that actually has a point of view, is YouTube. YouTube has a point of view. They're saying, this with me, right? Cook with me, clean with me, paint with me, bake with me. Yes, YouTube woke up, and this is the thing, guys. Some of us wake up and our whole lives have been shattered. as a public speaker, no one's hiring speakers right now. There are no events, right? So like, not great for me, not great for maybe many of you, most of you. And then, Zoom wakes up and they literally won the Powerball. And they still offer terrible customer service. And they still, I'm not sure if they've fixed all the Zoom bombing and the porn bombing and everything that happened. And Clorox, just complete arse in the butter, right? So some of you get and got very lucky, and others didn't. So great. YouTube got lucky, really lucky, where now they can actually profile and celebrate and showcase their YouTubers. But we are the YouTubers. So they're not really celebrating the celebrities. They're celebrating people just like you and me. And that is a good thing. That's a message that I welcome. And it's a message I can hear and see and watch again and again. And Crystal just gave a big sigh. I know you gave the sigh earlier, but I hope you're continuing, to sigh as well. Jan said, Uber creatives high-fiving, Uber riders scrambling for healthcare and food stamps. Yeah, exactly. One of my, I was talking in the webinar as well about, I got to put my head above Rax's comment, but maybe I'll just come back to it as well. But the one thing I was saying is, the one thing brands could think about right now is, how can we help essential services and first responders right now? So one of my students is actually working on Avis, and think about the car rental companies. That's what they should be doing. They should be offering their cars right now rent-free to first responders and essential services, preventing them from having to ride the bus or public transportation. So there are opportunities, but they're not opportunities in saying, they're opportunities in doing. I once heard this idea that don't be a thought leader, be a thought doer as well. So Rax, let me scan your comment. But while I am scanning it, so guys, nobody said who you thought that brand was earlier, that Uber piece of creative. Did you all think it was Uber? I mean, there's no way you could have, right? So what did Rax say? He said, other brands are doing well with their comms at the moment. Seen a few examples, mainly online and radio, but for me, it's really difficult to get it right. The public are calling out opportunistic brands, so reputational impact is bigger than ever. Exactly. Reputation. You don't build reputation overnight. You break trust overnight. You don't build reputation overnight. I'd like to see media space reserved for relevant brands who can directly help people during these times. This is exactly what I presented at the ANA today. This is exactly what I did. I said, you know what, it's at one of the heresies that I talk about in Built to Suck. I said, why don't you guys donate your media space even to your competitors, to people that actually have a message, that have something to say? Give them the voice. Give them that voice. And maybe you could even, if you really need to, say brought to you by. Wouldn't that be great, right? Imagine Heineken actually giving media space to Corona, saying, at the end of the day, you guys don't deserve all of this negative publicity. It's a pretty good beer. We can go back to being enemies afterwards. I don't think these are revolutionary ideas. I don't think these are insanely, controversial ideas. I mean, they shouldn't be. They shouldn't be. I want to leave you with an example that I actually think is a great example. I spoke about the heresy, right? Like funding your competitor, or stopping talking, or pulling your media dollars, or donating your media space. But this is actually from my home country, from South Africa. This is a piece of creative that was created for the country when the country went into lockdown. So I'd like to play this for you, because especially when you see who actually put it together. Let me play that for you.
This is not business as usual. No regular day of the week. There'll be no fighting the snooze button and getting ready for work. This will be something else. The country closed for travel, and so closed for business. But just you wait until we can travel again. Boy, are we going to travel. Long breaks and short getaways to B&Bs, lodges, and hotels. Girls' trips and getaways, Namadi. We'll be reintroducing ourselves to South Africa again, to her beautiful people and places. We'll be traveling to go see my lady Ekhaya, stopping here and there along the way. We'll be exploring like never before, because we know what it's like not to be able to. There's no way we won't go. Imagine what's happening visiting a farm or Khalitspan, or Rian deep in a Gandasi, or Chisanyama Kosu. We'll do it all. We'll invest in our country right from our own pockets, making bookings here and reservations there, and getting people back to work again. But for now, stay home, stay safe, knowing that Siajiga manje, that it'll be South Africa again soon. A message from South African tourism.
A message from South African tourism. That's heresy. That is the industry or the business that has been hurt the most, coming out with a message. And it's a different message. It's the same idea, but it's a different execution. There's something different to Uber basically saying, thank you for not riding us. This is South Africa showcasing this beautiful country, making me miss the country that I was born in so much, showcasing the people and the beautiful nature and just everything about the country, and saying it's going to get better. And when it gets better, we'll be back. But it's a more authentic message. It's a more authentic message than what we might hear from PR agencies or from our government, or even from the likes, of Uber, coming up with a message that to me just fell flat, right? So that's how they should have ended it, right? This message brought to you by Captain Obvious. This message brought to you by not riding with Uber again, ever. And look, I'm not going to boycott Uber, but I'm just saying, when you're good in life, you never should have to be able to sing your own praises. And the best thing to do is when somebody sings your praises for you. In this case, I'm singing South Africa's praises. I'm singing the Board of Tourism's praises. As much as they're hurting, sending an aspirational message and telling people to stay home during these tough times as well. Jan, you said, can I send you the spot? And the South African people, of course, I can send you everything, man. I can send you everything. I'm gonna jump onto Zoom right now. Joey said, I think I'm going to give you the last word today, my friend. A reputation grows at the speed of a coconut tree and falls at the speed of a coconut. Profound. Are those your words? Because they are now. I'm just going to tell people that you came up with it. It is true, right? This is what we should be doing now and thinking about, right, guys? We should be thinking about, and you know what my webinar was titled? My webinar was titled, Planning for the Next Crisis. Yes, the next one, because there will be a next one. So we need to make sure right now that we are, battle tested. We're going to be showing those scars. We're going to be feeling the pain. We're going to hope some of these wounds heal. Some of them will, some of them won't. But we need to be better the next go round. We need to be better. We need to be smarter. We need to be better equipped. Joey says, I stole it. No, you didn't. You came up with it. According to the great Joseph Dumont, a reputation grows at the speed of a coconut tree and falls at the speed of a coconut as well. Well, you don't need to forget because you came up with it. So everybody, tomorrow we will be back at 2 p.m. With Chad Dick, and we'll learn all about challenger mindsets and some brands that are doing some great stuff now. Some of the few, maybe some of the many. And for the rest of you, come on over to Zoom. Let's hang out for the next half an hour, and I will see you back, my friends. Take care of yourselves and each other. Goodbye.